Hey guys, what's going on? My name is Michael. Welcome back to IDB, and right here I have the all-new M2 MacBook Air. So this is Apple's complete redesign to the MacBook Air lineup, and in this video I want to go over 5 reasons with you why I purchased the all-new MacBook Air. So let's go ahead, jump in right now, and get started. So first up is the all-new display, and one of the biggest changes for me is this MacBook Air is now able to get a lot brighter, especially in direct sunlight. So compared to the previous version MacBook Air, when I'm using this outside and the sun is shining on the screen, I'm able to see everything on the display a lot better. So while this may not be as bright as your OLED display on your iPhone, for example, the bump up to 500 nits on this display really makes all the difference when you're using this outdoors. So another nice upgrade in terms of the display is just the colors look a lot better, and that's because this is now a 10-bit display as compared to an 8-bit display. And without getting too technical with you guys, that just means that the MacBook Air is now able to display a lot more colors on the screen. So if you're working in Photoshop with a lot of gradients, or if you're just picking a new wallpaper inside of system preferences, you're going to notice every single day when you use this MacBook Air that the colors just pop a lot more on the screen. And another change I really like in terms of the display is you have a lot more usable area in terms of vertical screen space. So what do I mean by this? Well, this new MacBook Air, as you can see, has the notch, which many people may not like, but it is good for one thing, and that is increasing usable screen size. So on previous MacBooks, this menu bar at the top would eat into your usable screen area. But now, thanks to the notch and the rounded corners, you're not really going to want to put any content up here, and that's where the menu bar now lives. So now, thanks to the new notch, you can have a lot more vertical screen space. So whether you're editing documents or browsing the web, everything you do on this new MacBook Air display is going to feel a lot more expansive. So next up at number 2 is the redesign. So I like this redesign for 2 reasons. One is it's just more modern and it looks a lot better. I really like how Apple updated the design language of the MacBook Air. And 2 is it's actually easier and more comfortable to carry around. So the previous MacBook Air had that taper design, and every single way you would hold it on every single edge, it would feel really sharp. This new MacBook Air feels a lot softer in the hand. It doesn't really dig into your hand as the old MacBook Air did. And that old MacBook Air was really starting to look outdated in the last few years. When you had it down on a table, the lid kind of had a bulbous look to it. It didn't really look that nice in my opinion. So I really like how Apple adopted the design language of the MacBook Pros with the ultra flat top. And I really think this design language fits well in the ultra thin design of the MacBook Air. So next up at number 3 is MagSafe. So we finally have MagSafe back on the MacBook Air, and it is so convenient. So first up, the main function of MagSafe is when you have it connected and it's on your desk, if somebody trips on the cable, it's going to get yanked out of the computer and it's not going to take the computer with it onto the floor, which is really nice. I don't know why Apple took MagSafe out of the MacBook lineup for so long, but it's definitely nice to have back. Another benefit of MagSafe is you're able to be charging the computer and still have access to your other Thunderbolt ports. So this MacBook Air is now more functional than the last MacBook Air, as you can now have power going into it and still have access to both of your Thunderbolt ports. And another thing I like is MagSafe has an LED indicator light so you can know when your MacBook is fully charged. So this definitely is useful. You can check the charge of your MacBook without turning it on. And also, one more benefit for the new MagSafe port is it now supports fast charging with the proper power adapter, so you're able to get a 50% charge in just 30 minutes using the new MagSafe port. So next up at number 4 is the new color. So this new MacBook Air comes in this midnight color, which almost looks like a matte black, and also a new starlight color. So you may have read the reviews that say this color attracts a lot of fingerprints, and that is true. But at this point, I really don't care because Apple has been using the same silver and space gray colors on their MacBooks since 2016. That's 8 years that they haven't changed the colors on their MacBooks. So now we finally have more color options on the MacBook, and this is so refreshing. I really love the way this looks. In almost every lighting, this thing looks matte black, and when it hits the light just the right way, it has a really nice dark navy look. So I really like the way that this midnight color looks. I just wish it didn't attract as many fingerprints as it does. And lastly, coming in at number 5 is just overall longevity of the Mac. So Apple has proven that with their M-based processors, they are extremely battery efficient and also powerful at the same time. Even the previous M1 MacBook Air is so powerful even to this day that it's going to be getting software updates for the next 4, 5, 6 years. So it's only going to get better with this new M2 chip in the new MacBook Air. This thing is going to be an ultra reliable computer for so many people. And another point in terms of longevity is this redesign. So Apple tends to keep designs around for a very long time. So if you buy this new M2 MacBook Air, you know that you're going to have a modern looking MacBook for the next 2 or 3 or 4 years. As if Apple ends up updating the MacBook Air in 2024, it's most likely going to have the exact same design. So your MacBook Air is still going to look like the newest one. So a few small things I want to throw in here at the end, which I really like, is they have removed the speaker grills, which I do like because on previous MacBooks that had speaker grills right next to the keyboard, they would tend to collect a lot of debris and fill up with dust. So the speakers now live behind the keyboard and get redirected off the display. It also leads to a much cleaner look. So without the speaker grills there, it's a lot easier to handle and you don't have to worry about jamming debris into the speaker. I also like how the function row of keys is now full height. It was really frustrating on the previous MacBook Air with how small those keys were, so they're now a lot easier to touch. And also with the full height function row, you now get a much larger Touch ID sensor, which makes it a lot easier when you're unlocking your Mac. And another small thing I like, even though I don't use my webcam very much, is the webcam on the MacBook Air is now a 1080p webcam. Finally, on the MacBook Air, we have a 1080p webcam. The 720p camera on the previous MacBook Air was just awful, so this new upgrade to a 1080p webcam is definitely appreciated. So if you guys are going to pick up one of these new MacBook Airs, tell me in the comments what your favorite new feature is, and also tell me which color you ended up choosing. If you guys found this video informative or helpful, make sure to drop a like on it as well. My name is Michael with IDB. I'll see you next time.